Hey guys, Al here, CEO of Les Brown Global. So many of you were on the call last night for the 6-week marketing crash course, and it was a lot of fun. We went really late. I believe we finished around 10:15 p.m. or so. And then when I was done the Zoom call and I went to check out the recording, I discovered a little glitch within Zoom, and unfortunately the recording of the call did not save. So what had happened is I had originally opened the Zoom call on my tablet, and then I realized I'd rather use my phone, so I closed the Zoom call and I reopened it on my phone, on my mobile device. And apparently when I did that transition, it saved that first part when I opened it on my computer, on my tablet, and it didn't save the second part from my mobile device. So here we are. I've got about 4 hours of driving in this winter snowstorm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to essentially go over everything we went over last night, and hopefully I'll be able to add some nuances that maybe I didn't cover yesterday. And I'll do the best I could to recover everything we covered yesterday during the call, and we'll take it from there. So the primary purpose of that first call was to build a foundation in your mind so that when you're moving forward with all the other marketing tactics, we don't have to go over those same basics that are in marketing, regardless of what you're going to do, and that's regardless of what industry you're in, regardless of whether you are passing flyers, doing a web campaign, or regardless of what the actual act of marketing is. So today's lesson is all, like I said, philosophy, the foundational work that you need for your mindset to be able to effectively execute on the marketing. And the later lessons will go over the actual tactics and the little itty bitty things you're going to do to generate leads, clients, prospects, conversions, and so on into your business, and of course profits. Excuse the recording today. I won't be looking at the camera quite as much as I'd like to. I'd like to keep my eyes on the road. So going back to marketing and philosophy and strategy, what's important to remember that the biggest roadblock in your business's growth is you. No matter what business you're in, no matter how long you've been doing this, no matter what level you are, I mean, if you're a $1 million company or a $500,000 company or a $1,000 company or a $50 million company, the limiting factor is always you. Now, here's the good news. You are also the greatest opportunity that your business has to go to that next level. You are the one who can make that change. And especially if you're a small business, you have the biggest advantage over large companies because you have the ability to make those quick pivots, those fast little shifts in your business, and be able to adjust and jump on trends, jump off trends, innovate quickly and so on. So don't ever lose sight of that. Sometimes I get clients that tell me, well, I'm just a one-man show or a two-man show. I just have a few little employees, and we're a small business. We can't compete with the Walmarts or whatever the major company or corporation you're comparing yourself to. And my comment is always, well, that's your greatest advantage. You see, if Walmart wants to jump on this new trend, or if Walmart wants to make this new strategic shift, it's a process. When a big corporation announces a new initiative, odds are it's been in the works for weeks, days, weeks, months, who knows how long. They've been planning this. They know they got their entire team on board. They've trained all the staff on the new innovation, and so on. But when you're a small mom and pop shop, you can act in lightning fast, increments. You can completely radically change your business overnight without having to go through all of the processes that big corporations have. So The biggest chokehold of your business is you, and the biggest opportunity of your business is you. So that's good news and bad news. Depends how you look at it, depends how you act, and depends on what you're willing to do. My father always said successful businesses or successful entrepreneurs are people that are willing to do what others are not willing to do. So you've got to be willing to put in the work, and you know, you're here on this call, you're learning the material that you need to learn, and that's great. So going back to marketing, the base of marketing is really understanding that marketing is everything. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter what you're doing or what you're sending out or what you're receiving, or it doesn't matter. Every single activity is marketing. Now, here's the thing. Not every activity you do is positive. Some marketing acts hurt you, and some marketing acts help you. Everything in life, there's no such thing as stagnation. You're either improving or you're falling behind. So everything in your business is marketing. How you answer the phone is marketing. How you greet the client when they walk into your business is marketing. How you dress is marketing. How your washrooms are in your restaurant is marketing. How you set up your bookshelves in your office is marketing. Everything you do is marketing. Every touch point that the prospect or clients has with you is an opportunity to either build rapport and help your business, or break rapport and distance yourself from that prospect and hurt your business. Everything is marketing. It either helps you or it hurts you. So one of the first psychological or philosophical things I want you to really embrace is that in business you have really two options. You can either be resourceful or you can be resisting. Okay? Like I mentioned earlier, there's no such thing as stagnation. Your business is going to go through ups and downs. There are going to be trials and tribulations, and there's going to be changes. And you can either resist the changes or be resourceful and find ways around it. Sometimes the change is, you know, a big competitive business, a big hotshot corporation moves in right next door and really threatens your livelihood. You can either resist it and try and fight it and say it's not fair and put your head in the sand, or you can be resourceful. You know, Peter Drucker says business only has two functions: marketing and innovation. If you're not doing one of those two constantly, your business is falling behind, or it's dead and you don't know it. So let's talk about, you know, Uber. Uber is the world's largest taxi company, and yet they don't own a single car. They don't own a single taxi. Airbnb is the largest hotel accommodations company in the world, and they don't own a single resort, hotel, or any of that. Alibaba is the world's largest retailer, and yet they don't own a single product. You know, Facebook is the world's largest media company, and yet they don't own any media. They don't have a news channel. They don't have a news station or a TV station. So it's important to realize that these are companies that didn't fight trends. They saw opportunities, they made changes, they innovated, and they went outside of the status quo in business and created the empires that they now have. So what can you innovate in your business? When I talk about innovation, I often get clients who'll say, well, you know, I can't innovate what I'm doing. Let's just say you're in a fitness studio, you know, a traditional gym, and they're in the gym and they're lifting dumbbells and they're doing bench presses and squats. But you can't innovate that. There's only so many ways to do a push-up. There's only so many ways to do a squat. There's only so many ways to do a dumbbell curl. So how do you innovate that? Well, the answer is you don't. You innovate how you charge, how you price. Maybe you innovate the membership style. Maybe, like Blockbuster was renting movies by the DVD, by the week. You rent this for a day, you rent this for a week, you rent this for a month, you don't bring it back, you pay for it. Netflix didn't change access to movies. What they changed was the way you paid for that access. Now you have a membership, a subscription, and you have access to everything. Well, what if Blockbuster would have said, hey, you pay a monthly membership, you come in the store and you get whatever DVD you want, right? They are not innovating the movie. They're innovating the pricing point, the pricing strategy behind that. Maybe you innovate how you market. Maybe you realize that, you've got a marketing approach that nobody else is doing, and as soon as you initiate that approach, it gets, lots of PR, lots of media, and you can start taking your business to the next level. Maybe you can innovate the way you answer the phone. Maybe you can innovate the way you dress. Maybe you can innovate, where your location is. Who knows? There's countless ways that you can add innovation into your business. The challenge is trying to discover where innovation is most potent, where it's most powerful, and where you can get the best return on your investment. So let's talk, let me give you an example. Well, I used to own a weight loss studio, a kickboxing studio. I owned that for 13 years. We really, really specialized in weight loss. And in the weight loss industry, what got really, really popular for a little while, I'm not too sure, I'm not in that industry anymore, I don't know if it's still big, but for a long time, these weight loss challenges were really big. Everybody was doing them. You pay $100 and you join a 12-week, kick your butt, lose some weight challenge, and then at the end of the challenge, hopefully you've lost weight. And everybody was doing them, and it was to the point where there was nothing unique about it. If somebody wanted to lose weight, there was countless options for them to engage in and go ahead and join that challenge and lose the weight. What I started doing was I looked at that and I realized, okay, if everybody is doing the challenge, and I can't innovate the weight loss, that's nothing new. Losing weight is you can't change, eat more broccoli, eat less sugar, and exercise. Can't really change much about that. So what we did is we innovated the way we priced, the way we charged people, our pricing strategy. Rather than say, hey, it's $100, you join this weight loss challenge, that's the end of it. We said, listen, we're going to charge you 3 times more. We'll talk about that when we get to our pricing strategy on another day. I'll explain why we charge 3 times more. We charge $300. And here's the deal. It's a 6-week weight loss program. You got to lose 20 pounds. We call it our 20-pound challenge. If you hit your weight loss goal of 20 pounds lost, we will refund you 100% of your sign-up fee. That $300, you get it all back, which means not only did you lose weight, you feel amazing, you look amazing, you got your refund, you got 100% of your money back. That, my friends, is a kick-butt deal. Now, here's the hard truth. 80% will never lose weight. That has nothing to do with my weight loss practices. That has nothing to do with where my city was. It's just a fact of life that most people just don't succeed. 80% of businesses fail. 80% of people don't lose weight. 80% of people who try and quit smoking never get out of it. The failure rate in those types of things is very high. So 80% of my clients, they lost weight. Everybody loses weight, but they didn't lose enough to hit that goal. So 80% paid the rent, because they didn't get their refund. So we generated a lot more income from the 80% who are now getting charged $300. But our PR, our media, our promotional stuff skyrocketed because that 20% that did lose the 20 pounds actually got 100% of their money back, and we'd make it fun. We had, those giant checks. We wrote their name on it. We wrote how much they lost on it. We wrote the total they were getting back in money. We took a big picture. We promoted it on Facebook. So these people were the happiest testimonials you could ever ask for, because they were bragging to everybody that not only did they lose weight, but they did it for free. Now, it would have been a lot harder for me to say, hey, sign up for free. If you don't lose your weight, I'm going to charge you. That's not the way to do it. By paying up front and telling them, hey, this is the ultimate motivation. If you lose the weight, we'll give you the money back. That's how good of the motivation. That's how good a deal it was. Again, 20%. They were the happiest people in the world. Now we've got, the lobby of our weight loss studio was full of pictures, plaques on the wall with people with their checks getting their money back. That's great, and we still made more money than ever before because we raised the price. And again, 80% of them, unfortunately, did not achieve their goal, and they paid the rent. So that's an example of how you can innovate something that a lot of people would consider not something you can innovate, the pricing strategy. So what are ways you can innovate? I'm just kind of trying to go through my notes here. You can innovate the pricing, the terms, how they pay. This whole thing of pay now or buy now, don't pay for 6 months. That's just ways of innovating pricing strategy. You can innovate your offer, your services, your products, your hours, your availability. Having a grocery store that is now open 24 hours a day, that's innovating the hours. It may seem minor, but these are ways that you can change and stand out and be resourceful rather than resisting the natural tendency of life to change. Okay, so moving on. How many of you, if this was a live engagement, or if we were in an audience, I'd get you guys to raise your hands, but how many ways do you think there is to grow your business? Do you think there's 5 ways, 3 ways, 10 ways? Sorry, I'm gonna put my glasses on here. It's getting a little bit sunny. How many ways do you think there is, or how many ways do you have available to you to grow your business? Well, here's the good news. You only have 3 ways you can grow your business. No matter what anybody tells you, every single growth strategy boils down to 3 pillars. Are you ready for them? Pillar number 1. You can add more buyers. So you get more clients, get more leads, right? If you're selling t-shirts at a retail store, you get more people to come into your store. If you're speaking on stage, you get more people to come see you speak. If you're selling stuff online, you send more traffic to your website. So the number 1 way to grow, number 1 in order of these 3, not in priority, just so we're clear. But the first way to grow your business is to increase the amount of buyers. The second way to grow your business is to increase how much those buyers spend every time they purchase at your business. Okay? If you never got another client, let's just say every month you bring in 10 new clients, and you did not increase that number at all, but you got them to spend, $15 when they come in instead of $10, you've effectively increased your business 50% without adding a single new client to your business. Okay? So you can add more people to your business. You can get them to spend more every time they visit your business. Number 3, you can get your clients to frequent your business more often. So let's just say you have 10 people a month coming into your business. Now you've got them coming in and spending $15. And now you got them to come in twice a month instead of just one time. You are growing your business geometrically. Let me give you a very simple example. You guys purchased this marketing crash course, we drove traffic to the website. When you got to the website, you were made an offer, and the offer was to purchase the 100 marketing mistakes bump. That was a way for us, without adding more clients to the business, to get you to invest a little bit more into yourself. A couple bucks here and there makes a big difference in the grand scheme of your business, right? And the great thing about it is we had almost 100% purchase of that bump. Had we not put there, we would have been leaving money on the table. So what can you add in your business that is going to get your consumers to spend more with you? Now, this is not meant to be unethical. I'm assuming everything you're selling here is actually worthy of your client purchasing that product. Let's be very, very clear with that. I don't support marketing or selling crap. You've got to have a good quality service product, offer, whatever you're selling, needs to be of high value. So, you come to the website, you spend more, now I get you to come more often. If you notice, after you made your purchase, there was an offer to jump on a coaching call with me. That's an example of getting you to come back and spend more with me at a later date. So the 3 ways, one more time, what are they? The first way, get more clients. So get more people. The second way, get them to spend more. Raise that price. Whether that be you're bundling things or you're just straight up raising the price, that's okay. Number 3, that's 4. Number 3, get them to come more often. So let's take an author. You're selling a book. Maybe when they purchase the book, you offer them a accompanying workbook for only $4.99. So now they bought the book for $10, and you've upsold them a workbook, so now you got $15 out of them. Without doing anything, you've increased the value of that client 50%. Now, what if you also got them to sign up for a monthly membership of some form related to your book, and now you've got them coming in and spending, $5 every month on a recurring program? Or what if you tell them, hey, if you come back in 2 weeks, we're gonna have a new workbook, and it's version 2, and it accompanies the first one. So now you get them to come back more often than just that one-time purchase. Here's the thing, business is hard. I'm never gonna say that, if you could just be smarter, you don't have to work so hard. That's not true. Business always is hard work. But if you can be smarter and work harder, now you've got yourself a real money machine. So for example, you're gonna spend the same amount of effort to get that client to come to the back of the room when you're speaking on stage and talk to you about your book. It's the same effort, whether when they get there, you pitch them just the book, or you pitch them a book and a workbook and a coaching program and a t-shirt. It's the same effort to get them to the back of that table. It's the same effort for me to get you to visit our website and purchase this 6-week course, whether I just sell you the course or I sell you the course and an upgrade, and I sell you the course and a coaching call. It's the same effort if you're gonna get somebody to come into your studio and try a karate class, and you're only gonna sell them that free trial, or you're gonna sell them the free trial and an introductory program and a free gi that comes with it, or you're gonna sell them on a black belt club or whatever it is. Getting them into your business is the same effort. So why not systematize things so you get more money, more profit, more returns every time? Returns by meaning return clients and repeat business, not returning your product. So let's summarize one last time, for repetitive is key here. More people, more purchase price, increase the purchase price, more frequency, more times they come in. Those, if you really focus on those 3 key things, you're going to be able to experience some real serious growth in your business, and it's not going to be linear, like we just got to get more people. That's really linear and not an effective way at growing your business. Hey, sorry about that. Apparently my phone cuts off recording at 30 minutes, so I had to restart it. So what I was saying is, try and just, like, most people only focus on adding more clients to the business. That's their whole focus. If you talk to any business owner and you say, hey, how's business, and they'll always say, need more people, need more clients, need more customers. That's the main focus. The challenge with that is that it's very, very linear, and it doesn't scale well. Let me explain. Let's just say that you have a 10% margin. You bring in whatever, 10 people, you generate $1,000, cost you 900, you make $100. If all you do is add more people, then unless you're in a business where you can purchase in bulk and bring your price down a little bit, the margin doesn't change. So it's still going to only have a 10% spread, but now you're adding more people, and odds are you're going to have to add more staff, which it just doesn't tend to work well unless you've got a business like a software where you can scale without having any overhead change. Just adding more clients typically does not scale very well. But on the flip side, if you focus on adding more clients, getting them to spend more each time, and getting them to come more often, that is something you can scale. That is something that you can grow without having to worry about your margins being squeezed and squeezed and squeezed. Let me just set my cruise here so we're all good to go. This thing has that adaptive cruise, which is actually really handy for doing stuff like this. So it'll just match the traffic with me, and it'll keep me at a safe distance from those around me at all times. So technology, you have to embrace it. You don't want to fight it. So okay, so let's just kind of wrap up this section here. One more time. You can add more people to your business. Let me close the reflection there. Add more people to your business. You can get them to spend more every time they come into your business, and you can get them to come more often to your business. That's how you get real geometric growth within your company. You don't want to be a linear company. You want to be a geometric snowball that just grows and grows and grows. Okay, the next point I want to talk about is strategy versus tactics. Most businesses are nothing more than tacticians, and they're jumping from one reactive marketing act to another without any strategic, cohesive plan linking every activity together. That is probably one of the biggest mistakes you can make in your business. Your goal should be to have every tactic you do in your business pre-planned to work together for the greater good of whatever your goals are. I'll give you an example. There was two companies, I believe it was in the 70s in California, when cubic zirconium was very popular. Those are like fake diamonds, chunk of plastic that looks like a diamond or whatnot. I think it's plastic or a stone or some kind of material. It's basically fake jewelry. And when that came out, it was a big thing, and two companies opened up at the same time. Both companies ran a ad in the Los Angeles Times promoting their new cubic zirconium jewelry. These ads were not cheap, cost a fortune. Oh, excuse me. So they ran their ads. Both companies got X amount of orders. Let's just say they got 10 orders. They took those orders, they fulfilled them, they processed them, they shipped out the orders as planned. Company A looked at their books, looked at their numbers, realized, they broke even. Their ad cost, say, $10,000. They got 10 orders. They sent out those 10 orders. To fulfill those orders cost about $10,000. There was minimal, if not no profit. So they decided this is not a good business venture. We're going to close this down. You can't scale this. There's no money in it. No big deal. Company 2, same ad, same $10,000 for the ad, same 10 orders. But they did things strategically. they decided that they weren't just going to send the cubic zirconium, the jewelry that they purchased, out in the mail just like that. Instead, they sent it with a beautiful box, a nice velvet box. They sent it with a letter congratulating the customer on their purchase. They sent, and then the letter said, "Listen, a lot of customers who buy from us also wanna get a matching ring or a matching earring or a matching necklace to go with the piece they just purchased." So they upsold. When they sent that box, they had offers to purchase other things, right? To get that customer to spend more with that business. So the first month they broke even, but then the next month they received double or triple the amount of reorders for upsells, and then so on and so on. And they ended up becoming one of the most profitable companies in that space in their time, because they didn't just send the product as it was, they had a strategy behind it. So when someone buys your book online, do you just send the book out and hope they come back again and become a fan and follow you forever? Or do you have a strategy behind it? When somebody joins your karate group, do you have a strategy? Do you have a path you're going to walk that client to where they're going to become a long-term client with you for many, many years? Or is it just this one-off activity, this one tactic, and when that tactic dries out, you got to scramble to the next tactic, and so on. So you want to think about your business in a very strategic sense. So I want you to think about, what activities are you doing right now? How can you tie them together, and how can you get the most out of them? My father used to have a saying that said, sometimes the juice isn't worth the squeeze. But on the flip side, sometimes you want to get, or every time, you should get the most juice out of every squeeze. So if you're going to put in the time and effort to get a client to purchase from you, you may as well get the most bang for your buck that you possibly could out of that client. You don't want to just send one standalone product. You don't want to make one standalone offer. You always want to have a strategy, a plan, and a long-term reason that client is going to be with you for years and years to come. I have, like I said yesterday on the call, but again, since the recording wasn't saved, I'll repeat. I have a workbook for you guys that you're going to go through with these 6 weeks. But I don't want to send it right now because the entire 6 weeks is in this workbook. And if I send it right now, you're going to snoop ahead before the lesson. So what I'd rather do is I'll hold back the workbook, and then the last day I'll send it to everybody. This workbook here, all these questions I'm asking you, it has places to fill in. So it is an actual action-oriented workbook. So just letting you guys know, if it's great you're taking notes and I'm telling you to do some homework and whatnot, and you should do it as we were going, but don't be too worried if you forget the odd part, because the workbook does have everything in there, as well as stuff that I'm most likely missing out on. So I'll leave you one quick reason, a quick quote as to why strategy is so important. The fact is that most businesses are not strategic. Most businesses are very, very tactical, and they're jumping around from one little activity to the next. So the opportunity here lies in this one little quote. In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. Okay? Businesses are the land of the blind. There are entrepreneurs all over the place in every sector who simply do not know what they are doing. They're running their business tactically. They're running their business reactively. They're running their businesses haphazard and more or less unaware of what they really need to be doing. So in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. Strategy gives you this one-eyed advantage where you're the only one who can see the forest for the trees. You're the only one who can see the opportunities that lie ahead. So don't take this strategy stuff lightly. This is the difference between setting yourself apart from the businesses around you. One important point I should have made at the start, and I want to kind of really reinforce now, it's that marketing is not complicated. In fact, it's incredibly simple. A lot of folks, when I teach marketing, a lot of people will say, well, I already know that, or that seems too simple. But let me tell you something. Simplicity is where the power is. It's a matter of acting on these strategies and these ideas, and really getting it down to its core principles into your business. There's so many business case studies that I've been involved with, or have read through other marketing material, where one tiny simple strategy completely turned their business around. So don't get held up on the simplicity of some of the material I'm going to be teaching over the next 6 weeks. If you're not doing it in your business, it doesn't matter how simple it is, you're not doing it, and you should be doing it, and you should be applying it to your business. Okay, so let's talk about branding. Again, today's call is all about the basic foundations, very, very kind of like, 3,000 foot view of some of the stuff we're going to talk about. But in the following 6 weeks, the following 5 weeks, we're going to get really dive down into the nitty gritty. So I just want to get some branding overlays that I want you to keep in the back of your mind when you're working through some of these marketing practices. So a lot of people, they visualize branding as their logo and what they're making sure that their website matches their cover head, and it matches their t-shirt, and it matches maybe their product, and then that's branding. Everything, the colors got to match, and the font has to match, and all that. But the truth is, marketing is so much deeper than that. Here's how marketing is in the eyes of your consumer. Branding. Branding is the promise your business is making to the consumer. And your logo is simply the reminder, the post-it note, if you will, of that promise. So what promise are you making your consumer? Every single time your consumer sees your logo, they're reminded of the promise you are making. That's what branding is. So let's talk about what the promise you're doing. Maybe your promise in martial arts is, confidence and, being able to walk down any street knowing you're safe because you've got that self-defense base, built into you, and you've practiced it over the years. Well, every time they see your logo, it's a reminder, it's a visual reminder, it's a cue of that promise of increased confidence. So here's the problem, though. If you are not delivering on that promise, then every single time they see your logo, they are losing or distancing themselves from you. You are breaking that trust they have with your brand. So if your promise is to be, the friendliest company on your block, and the last 3-4 times they went to your operation, they found the front desk receptionist to be a pain in the butt and not very friendly at all, or when they walked around the aisles of your retail outfit and they asked somebody for assistance to find shampoo, and they went, oh, it's that way, and they just were not friendly, then from that point forward, every time they see your logo, it is a reminder that you broke your promise of being this friendly outfit. Okay? So branding is the promise you're making to your consumer, and the logo is the reminder of that promise. Let me give you an example of a broken branding promise. Because a lot of folks, the branding ends with the graphic design, the visual stuff. I have clients that they get all bent out of shape because they have specific colors and the color didn't turn out perfect on a billboard or something. But that's such a small piece of branding. So I come from a mining town. As you can imagine, mining is not the best thing for the environment. It causes, a fair amount of damage to nature. So the local mine in my city decided they were going to do this new environment, this new green initiative. And they did a whole bunch of promotions. It was all over the news. You know, they had it playing before the movies in the theater, and they talked about it on the radio, and there was all the papers, and this big whole thing about the mine is going green. Great. It's fantastic. It's a great promise. Maybe a week or so later, front page news of our local newspaper was an image of one of the mine's pickup trucks driving down the road. Had the logo on the pickup truck, you know, branding. And the guy driving the truck was in the middle of throwing a Tim Hortons coffee cup out the window. This was right after they had launched this new green initiative. Now, branding to a lot of people is the logo on the truck, but branding to successful businesses is that guy throwing the coffee cup out the window. That was a branding problem. Yeah, you can argue it's a staffing issue, of course. You can argue that the branding is fine. It's, you know, it's a million other things, but the logo was there. You know, branding's all good. That's incorrect. The promise was environmentally friendly. It was green. You know, green movement. And when he got caught throwing that coffee cup out the window, he broke that promise. So now, moving forward, every time someone saw that logo, it was a reminder of the broken promise. So if you only think that the logo is branding and that's all you need to do, stick your logo all over the place, well, in this situation, that visual branding is actually hurting the company every single time someone sees it, because their real branding problem was that they were not culturally aligned with the promise across their entire company. So branding is a lot deeper than just the visual side. Again, branding is the promise. The logo is the reminder of that promise. Let's go on with a few more basics to cover. Testing. How many of you test your marketing efforts? One of the reasons I want to really reinforce this right now is that in the coming weeks, I'm going to give you tactical stuff. I'm going to be saying, okay, here is a marketing approach you should try. Go do this, this, and this. What I want you to do is, mentally, I want you to be able to say, okay, he wants me to do this, but I'm going to test this against this and find out which pulls best. Testing should be your default gut reaction. You can test the colors, you can test the headline, you can test the copy, you can test the offer, you can test the call to action, you can test where you market, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Google. You can test, you know, what neighborhood you market. You can test what zip code, what postal code. You can test cold traffic. You can test the first line you say when people walk into your store. You can test how you answer the phone. You can test what your email signature is. You can test a million different things. The key is always be testing. When you find something, and sometimes it's the most random thing. Sometimes you run two things, and one, the same offer, one charges $19.99 and the other one charges $29.99, and logic will tell you $19.99 will outpull $29, but you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong, but the tests tell you, oh, look at that, more people buy the $29.99 offer. You would have been leaving $10 on the table per client if you wouldn't have tested that, right? So you got to test everything in your business. So with technology, that's really easy. If you're running an ad campaign online, you just run 2, 3, 4, 5 different ads. You pixel all of them. You go, cookies. You track the whole thing, and it's really easy to know where your traffic came from, which web pages pulled best, which landing pages had the most pull, and that's great. Now, offline, a little more challenging to test, right? Most magazines will have a variable printing software to allow you to run different variations of ads. Yeah, every odd numbered magazine gets ad 1, and every even number gets ad 2. That is something you can definitely do in the magazine world. But the way we do it, let's just say you have a local outfit, karate school, restaurant, retail outfit, and you're advertising by direct mail. is you can actually tell, your post office, okay, I want these flyers here. Here's 10,000 flyers. I want them to go to the zip code 123. Okay, and what you do is on that flyer, you write, on your call to action, to grab this free offer, call Janice at blah blah blah, your phone number. And then in a different zip code, you write, to claim this free offer, call Jerry at blah blah blah. And then in a different zip code, you write, to claim this free offer, call Benny at blah 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 blah. So you use these made up names to track what neighborhood that call came from. And then when they call, they say, hi, is Benny in? And you say, oh, I'm sorry, Benny's not here at the moment. My name is Joe Blow, and I'm here to help you. And it's as simple as that. But make sure that you write, in your Excel sheet where those names were sent to. But that's a very easy way to know right off the bat what neighborhoods you're getting the most traffic from. Another way is with emails. So let's just say, on the first one, let's just say you don't use the phone and your call to action is through email. Great, you make a whole bunch of emails. Okay, so to claim this offer, email Janice at yourcompany.com. And the next one, okay, email Benny at yourcompany.com. Or email, John at yourcompany.com. And then you just get all those emails to forward to your one main email, and you'll be able to see clear as day where your traffic is coming from. Of course, if you're not at marketing in a lot of different places at the same time, then it's real simple. When someone calls in and they say, hi, I'm calling in to grab your free offer, you just say, great, where'd you hear from us? It could be as simple as that. But the point is, you need to track, you need to test, you need to know where people are coming from, and you have to be measuring the activity that you are doing in your business. Okay, I think we're good for that. Let's move on. Okay, so track and measure. This kind of just blended together. So tracking and measuring. These are two things that, unfortunately, most small businesses don't do. When I walk into most mom and pop shops, I say, great, where are your clients coming from? They have no clue. Well, they like to say, local. But they really don't know. They don't know that maybe 80% of their clients are a certain race, or they don't realize that maybe 80% of their clients, or 20% or 30% come from one specific neighborhood. Maybe they don't know that every one of their clients has kids. Maybe they don't know that every one of their clients is in their 40s. You've got to be measuring and tracking all of this data. See, data is inherently useless if you can't find a way to make sense of it. Having 30 different data points in your business is great, unless there's nothing you can do with those data points. So it's important that you find ways to actually use that data. But of course, in order to do that, you have to be tracking, you have to be measuring, you got to be aware of where your traffic is coming from. A lot of people say, okay, so how do I track? Where do I compile all this data? Listen, when you have 100 clients, the easiest place is an Excel sheet. You don't need a fancy $1,000 CRM software. All you need is an Excel sheet, and either you do it yourself, or you hire your teenage child, or you use a receptionist, and they just compile the data all the time in an ongoing spreadsheet. And that way there, you're always aware of who your clients are, where they're coming from, how many you have, and so on. You should know at any given moment how many clients you have in your business. Without a doubt, you should know who's in your business and where they came from and all of that stuff. Okay, so moving on here. Okay, let's talk about Dream 100. When I talk about this strategy, a lot of people, unfortunately, and it really rubs me the wrong way, but a lot of folks acknowledge the theory of this strategy, and that's as far as it gets. They never apply it. They think it's too simple. They think it doesn't apply to them. Let me tell you something. Russell Brunson, he runs a company called ClickFunnels. They are a $150 million a year company. in basically every single one of his interviews or podcasts or whatnot, he praises the fact that his entire business was built on the premise of Dream 100. There we go, timing out again. So back to Russell Brunson, a $150 million company built entirely on the premise of the Dream 100 strategy. So unless you think that your business is doing better than Russell's $150 million company, I would encourage you not to brush off this strategy. So what is the Dream 100 strategy? Basically what it is understanding that the key to your marketing is to be irresistible to a few and invisible to the many. Okay? It all comes down to your audience. Actually, all right. Oh yeah, so let's talk about that in a minute. Let's talk about Dream 100 for a second, and then we'll go back into the audience. I missed a section. The Dream 100 is picking the 100 clients you absolutely want in your business as a client and ignoring everyone else. Now, if you're a B2C where you have a lot of, you have more than 100 clients, maybe you're a karate studio and you have 1,000 students, then you would use what's called a Dream or a Best Buy your neighborhood or a Dream 1000 or a Dream neighborhood. The same strategy applies. Odds are 100% that there is a select group of people that are more likely to purchase your product than anyone else. The thing is even if you have a very small marketing budget, you can take that budget and go really far with it if you focus on just a small, select group of people. If you're trying to market to the whole world, then your $1,000 marketing budget is going to get you absolutely nothing. If you're trying to market to 12 ideal prospects for your high-end product, then that $1,000 can get you pretty far. So you want to really narrow down and focus on that Dream 100 prospect. So let's talk for a minute about your audience. Okay? There's 3 really, really, really crucial keys to your marketing success. Number 1 is the audience. Who are you talking to? Number 2, it's your message. What are you saying to them? Number 3 is your medium. How are you reaching them? With Facebook, direct mail, cold call. That's the medium. So let's talk about the first one, audience. Who are you talking to? So back to my kickboxing studio, we were there for 13 years, and when we were planning this studio, we put a lot of time and effort into figuring out who we want as clients. Most kickboxing, MMA, boxing, Muay Thai studios, they kind of think about, well, we want to attract, or not the ideal, maybe not that they want to attract, but the average consumer, regardless of whether they want it or not, in those types of businesses, is a rough and tough, young teenage punk or young adult, full of tattoos, likes to fight, likes to beat the heck out of stuff, and maybe a little rough around the edge. But here's the problem with that customer. That customer typically has no job or very little disposable income. They don't have family in terms of kids or a spouse. Yeah, often they are not in the type of work environment where they can just gossip and socialize all day. Yeah, and we're making some generalizations here, of course. I'm not denying that. But to me, it was not the ideal client that I wanted to deal with. And listen, if your business is not fun, get rid of it. It's as simple as that. I owned my kickboxing studio for 13 years, and I loved every single minute of it until I didn't. And then when I had enough, that's when I sold it. Even though I had done it, and my clients didn't understand, like, oh, you're so good at it, you've been doing this for so long. I had the largest studio in Ontario. Why are you moving on? Because that chapter was done. It was no longer something I loved to do. I didn't wake up juiced about it, and it was time to move on. Anyways, so what I decided for that business is that I did not want that client. Instead, I decided consciously that I want my ideal client to be a 45-year-old mommy, who is married and who has 2 teenage daughters. That is my ideal prospect for my kickboxing studio. Now, let me tell you why. A 45-year-old mom has typically, statistically, the most disposable income. She has, statistically, in my area, a desk job, and she has lots of coworkers and girlfriends, and she gossips to all her friends. And this is not meant to be derogatory or insulting. That's not the point. The point is just to really determine who you're talking to. She, if she has a few pounds to lose, and the average mom loses 15, 20 pounds, every one of her girlfriends is going to notice. They're all going to talk about it. They're all going to say, how did you do it? Where did you go? And more importantly, she had other friends she can tell, to upsell and refer to my business. And she had 2 teenage daughters that she committed a lot of time to. And that boils into my message. So when I knew that my ideal client was this lady, this 45-year-old married mom with 2 teenage daughters, now the next part of the keys to marketing, which is the message. Now, when I write my marketing copy, I know exactly how to talk to this individual, right? So I could write copy like this. Listen, you have spent your entire life, your adult life, caring for your family, giving every part of you to your kids, making sure that everything they need is there and available for them. Isn't it time that you focus on you? You've been given and given and given your entire life, and that's wonderful, and I honor you for that. But isn't it time that you would spend a little bit of your time and your energy focusing on you? I think you deserve some me time. So now when I write that message and a 45-year-old mom is sitting at work and comes across my advertising and reads that, she thinks, man, this person is talking to me. They know exactly how I feel and what I want in my life and what I need. What I need is some mommy time. What I need is some me time. Some out with my girlfriend's time. So that allowed me, because I knew who my audience was, who my dream client was, it allowed me to write a message exactly to that person. Now here's the next thing. What do you think my kickboxing studio, what do you think the name of my kickboxing studio was? It's a kickboxing studio, rough and tough. We called it, now remember, we wanted to attract that 45-year-old mom. So if I would have called it, Al's Dragon Kick Butt Take No Names Kickboxing Studio, that would not have attracted 45-year-old married mom with kids, daughters specifically. But I named my business Family Kickboxing because that is a name that really stands out from all the other ones and instantly connects that lady, that ideal prospect, with my business on a deeper level. That is understanding your audience and your message. Now the third point here, the third key, audience, message, medium. The third key is knowing where the eyeballs of your audience are going. What are they paying attention to? In marketing, you'll never hear me say you need to be on Facebook. You need to run newspaper ads. You need to be on TV. You'll never hear me say that. Here's why. I don't know where your audience is. Until we go through your Dream 100 and we work to figure out who your ideal audience is, I don't know where they are. I can assume, but it's not necessarily always accurate or right or the best thing to do. I never assume anything in my business. I let the numbers tell me. So, if you are, let's make a couple assumptions now. Now that we've said I don't assume, let's make some assumptions just to help prove my point. if you have a service that helps senior citizens feel less lonely, maybe it's a service where you can get them connected with teenagers to just spend a day, an hour with, and keep them company. Would you promote that service to senior citizens on Facebook? Probably not. You'd probably be better off to promote that service, in a seniors establishment with posters on the bulletin board, or maybe with in the phone book, where senior citizens tend to still use. But if you're promoting your service to seniors on Snapchat, probably not going to find your target audience, because that's not where their attention is. But if you're promoting, I don't know, a new teen chat service, then odds are promoting with Instagram and Snapchat is probably the right choice, because that's where the teenagers are hanging out, right? So you need to follow your audience. If you know that your market reads every trade magazine in your industry, then that's where you should advertise. If you know that your market, for whatever reason, I don't understand it, reads the newspaper every single morning, then that's where you should market. If you know that your target market is huge on listening to the radio every single morning on their drive to work, then that's where you should market. If you know that your audience is going to be watching the Super Bowl, that's where you should market. You should follow the attention. Don't assume you know where the eyeballs are. Study your market and look where they are paying attention. Okay? I have a picture. I'll try and add it to this workbook. I took this picture in, I don't remember where it was, either Toronto or Ottawa. And there's the building, there's a bench, and on the bench, there's about maybe 8 or 9 young adults sitting on the bench. 100% of them is looking down on their phone. Right across from them, maybe 15 feet in front of them, is a bus stop with a bunch of advertisement all around it. How many of those kids or teenagers or adults do you think saw the billboard on that bus stop? I would bet 0. They probably were on their phone when they were walking to the bench. They sat down while still on their phone. They got up, still looking at their phone, and they walked away, still looking at their phone. The attention to that market was not on that bus stop. So whoever said, hey, you should put an ad on this bus stop to promote something to that market, was wrong. Now, I don't know what the ad was. Maybe it wasn't targeting to them. But the point here is you need to follow the attention. Follow the eyeballs. Where are the eyes of your market? Okay, let's move down here. So I don't really want to talk about crafting the perfect message just yet. We're going to be doing, sorry, I was getting a call there. We're going to be doing a lot of copywriting at a later date. So let's talk about USP. What is the USP of your business? So who here knows what USP stands for? USP stands for unique selling proposition. Okay, so that's unique selling proposition. What makes you unique? What makes you different? Every single one of you are unique. You are different, but you need to help relay that message to your client. Why should I buy from you instead of from the person next to you? Why should I frequent your store instead of the myriad of other stores around? Why should I visit your website instead of every other websites out there? One of the ways you can craft your one-liner for your unique selling proposition is with this template. And I have it in the workbook. You start like this. Do you know how? And you state a problem. Well, what I do is, and you state the solution. Okay? So going back to my fitness studio. Well, do you know how you've spent your entire life giving for your family and caring for them? Well, what I do is I help you take back some of your power and give yourself some me time so you can really focus on you, right? Or do you know how, when you're driving and the sun is glaring in your eye, Well, what I do is provide you with sunglasses that help eliminate that, right? Do you know how, whatever the problem is, well, what I do is whatever the solution is. So what is the problem that your audience is dealing with? And what is the solution that you are offering to them? Again, why should I, as a prospect, deal with you rather than somebody else? You need to be able to answer that question. You need to be able to tell me why. Why should I buy your book? Why should I not, purchase the other book right next to you? The bookshelf in the bookstore, there are thousands and thousands of books all over the place. You need to prove to me why I should grab yours. Okay, so I'm going to start to wrap this up a little bit. I probably left out a few things that we discussed on the Tuesday call, but again, everything is in the workbook. So just to summarize a little bit, marketing. Today's call was all about the psychology of marketing, and when we move forward in the later dates, in the later calls, we are going to be going through some tactical stuff. It's important for you to remember, no matter what the idea, the marketing idea I give you is, you need to understand how to tailor it to your audience, how to craft the message for your audience, where to talk to them, how to test, and all of those other factors. You need to have that foundation going in. So what I want you to remember is that marketing is everything. From this point forward, whatever you do in your business is marketing. How can you make it better? How can you pull more? How can you generate more profit? How can you be more compelling to your clients? I'll give you one little tip. When I was growing my business, when I was younger, starving, literally, you're starting a business, you're broke, you're trying to make things happen. I had a personal rule that I had to do 5 new marketing acts every single day. So maybe, I had to pick up the phone, I had to deliver flyers door to door by hand, I had to put coupons on cars, I, stapled posters on the street poles, or whatever it was. 5 marketing acts every single day. What are 5 things you can do every day to market your business? If you are not actively marketing your business, then you are actively losing business every single day. You need to be focusing on marketing. Okay, well, I'm going to wrap that up, guys. I look forward to the additional 5 calls where we're going to really dive deep into some of these, or many of these marketing tactics, with the actual things you can do to grow your business. But what I want you to start doing is opening your mind to how much marketing takes place around you and how much marketing you can apply in your business to take it to the next level. If you have any questions, of course, you can shoot me an email. Just in case you don't have it, it's Alain, ALAIN, at lesbrownglobal.com. I'm here to help you, and I look forward again to these next few calls where we're really going to dive into this and take your business to the next level. Take care, guys. Bye.